Good afternoon, YouTube, and just thought I'd like to mention what a nice afternoon this is. It's quiet, you can kind of hear some insects going. It's mid-October, late October, really. And I used a picture for my thumbnail here, and it was a rose bush. Yeah, it's a little bit off the subject what I intend to speak about, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'll just stay on that subject for a little bit. Well, my last video before this was the Alfablot, the little bit of, combination with sort of a deseer bloat as well. And it's kind of interesting because I mentioned how I had my own personal ritual, so to speak, regarding this. And it's funny, but the rose bush that I had taken a picture of for this thumbnail in my yard was planted by my grandmother a long time ago, and it used to cover an entire fence that was since removed. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is that's the first time in 30 years I've seen it bloom mid-October. It always blooms in May. Like clockwork, it blooms every May. This is the first time I've seen that thing bloom that I can ever remember living out there for the last 30 years off and on. So, never seen it bloom in the fall. Now, of course, there could be other reasons. I tend to have a feeling that maybe something was answered. Maybe my ancestors heard my respect or acknowledged the respect I gave them through this bloat. Could be a valid scientific reason that somebody out there will have for it on why a rose bush will bloom twice like that in a year. So I'm not trying to say for certain that it is one thing or the other. I just find it an odd coincidence that after doing this Alfablot, which was correct on the lunar calendar a couple weeks ago, that never seeing this happen before ever with that particular rose bush, if I could speak English today, rose bush, that it happens. And there it is. So it might not have any significance, but for me it's carrying some significance for me personally. So, but anyway, that being said, we finally have kind of reached the weather and the temperature and the weather, the temperature, the feeling of autumn, that shift, that time of year of transition. So like we're always talking about with people sitting on fence posts or crossroads or seasons shifting, those barriers between worlds seem to fade or dissipate a little bit. And we have to kind of consider, by the way, I got to show you something here, that we also fade, right? So this thing was wet cement at one point, and I could not resist the temptation. Yeah, I'm going to come back with maybe a red paint pen and fill them in and put some sort of sealant on it, leave my mark. So anyway, we also kind of fade as we get a little bit older, and eventually we drop dead. I'm in my 50s, so it's going to happen sooner or later. But here a while back, I went to my doctor, and she's a very good doctor, close to my age. Talk to her all the time, almost a friend to us, really, to the family. And it's funny because I've seen this trend, and I hear it online, where all these men are talking about hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, and everybody's pushing it. As a matter of fact, I had a student who was from Belarus, and he's talking about his father, who's about my age, getting jacked, getting on testosterone replacement therapy, getting this new girlfriend who's like 20 to 30 years is, younger than him, and how he feels like a man again. He feels great. He doesn't have to work out as much, and for me, I can't help but feel how unnatural that is. And now, mind you, I was telling my doctor about these things, and she's saying, yeah, I can test people. There are people who have low testosterone. There are people who need this kind of thing. And, but she says, what has happened in our society where, I found this kind of intriguing that she mentioned this, that historically, as men aged, they became kind of respected. They became kind of wise old men. They sort of gained a different kind of respect, a respect rooted in maturity and life experiences, and sometimes accumulation of power in different ways too. Some might accumulate wealth and understanding how to manage it and help others with that wealth and power. Some with knowledge. And it's kind of a natural thing. It's almost like it's not really a decline, but a transformation of some sort. Now, for me personally, I don't really feel too different than I did in my 20s. Now, but she noted that I do things differently. I try to take care of the metabolic aspects of testosterone generation. I work out 6 days a week. I'm strong, I'm flexible. I can do lunges, I can do splits, I can do a deep squat, no issues. I have no issues with mobility, flexibility. I'm improving my cardio as we speak. I've had to tighten up my diet a little bit just because I'm kind of a glutton. So I got to clean up my diet, and a little bit goes a long way. Get plenty of sleep, hydrate, take vitamins, and maintain your natural good health. There's no reason that modern men can't be strong and virile and have plenty of testosterone well into our old age. It's a bit of moderation, a bit of self-discipline. So it's a weird thing to see where historically young men drink too much, which we know decreases testosterone. We know that if they sleep terrible, you get no sleep, that drops your testosterone. Big issue with me when I was in the military. No sleep. Any of you who've been in the military understand, you get no rest. You're always sleep deprived. That's not healthy for the long term. You don't function well. You can't function well. Your immune system suffers, your body suffers. It's terrible for you. Sleep is so crucial. Little things like that can maintain a certain level of health. I can do things in my 50s. I've noticed that a lot of these 20-somethings cannot do. So I have to wonder why we have this push for almost staving off the inevitable, as if getting old and recognizing that inevitable cycle of aging and eventually dying is somehow to be feared or avoided, or to pretend it's not going to happen. The reality is young men are dying just as fast, if not faster. All those men who die of heart disease, smoking related, drinking related, chronic illnesses, it's behavioral. How many young men do you know are morbidly obese because they sit in front of the gaming console all day long? And by the way, nothing wrong with gaming. Gaming, if done in balance, is excellent for mental health. It's a de-stressor. It's been shown to decrease dementia, reduce the risk of dementia. Yeah, it's a great mental exercise, and it's just fun for people. But it can't be all you do. Again, it goes back to moderation. I kind of like that Stoic idea of moderation. Now, trying to perform at a high level, excel, or dominate at certain things, that cannot be done in moderation. If you're a fighter, you understand this. You got to train. It has to become like your religion. So, anyway, I'm sitting here just kind of rambling on and on about this, and here we are in autumn, and I'm in the autumn of my life, if you want to look at it that way. And yet, I feel great. Of course, I'm not as strong and fit as I was in my early 20s. I was gigantic and jacked and fast, but I'm better than most. So, yeah, I think we used to call these things that these guys are doing like a midlife crisis. You know, that doesn't sound like reclaiming your manhood. It sounds like denying that transformation into something else. You know, that transformation into a wiser older man. It doesn't mean you have to give up your masculinity, your health, your virility, none of that stuff. But it seems like shortcuts, and young men do shortcuts too. How many of you guys lift and you've met those dudes that are on steroids and jacked, and they don't care about the consequences? You know, they're going to face them sooner or later, right? I mean, we all know those guys. So it's really a natural outlook versus an unnatural outlook. We must recognize that all things are in a state of change or in flux. They're always in motion. That includes us. We're part of nature. I'm watching the autumn. I'm feeling the cool breeze. Some of the bugs are going away. And let me tell you, in eastern Oklahoma, this is the best time of year to be here. I grew up in Wyoming, freezing, bitter, cold, and I miss it a lot. I miss the rugged beauty of the Rockies and the plains. But right now, leaves start changing color. The temperature changes. It's a wonderful thing. So for all of you out there, there's some of you who probably are recognizing this kind of pagan time of year for transition, new year, new beginnings, the beginning of winter, death, and then rebirth. I would say we should embrace transformation and change. We have to. It's going to happen whether we like it or not. And that goes for ourselves as well. Find that positive transformation, that natural growth into the next phase as you're intended. And for us who are older men, we should pursue wisdom, guidance, strength, and a presence that can help other people, especially the younger generation. They're more confused now than ever before, and it's not their fault. I think, I'm going to piss off boomers again, sorry to do this, but I think some of the boomers who are in denial, embracing so much degeneracy that they never became wise. You know, they never became wise. They're still watching CNN and protesting stupid shit. You know, they're doing stupid shit right now. Yeah, so of course not all of you. You know, get the hate from the boomers. You know, so, but you guys did fuck up the world. Fuck up America at least. Come on, take some credit. They're not all at fault. Anyway, I'm not getting on that soapbox right now. So whoever you are, and no matter what your age is or what your phase of life is, that's a better way of looking at it. I hope you enjoy this transition we have going into fall and then winter. And if there's a point of transition for your life that you're going into, a phase of life, I hope it happens smoothly, and maybe look to the examples of some of your elders, even some of the wise boomers, and maybe your ancestors as well. There's timeless guidance that they have for us. And even the ones that have gone still have an influence on us, and they can still be reached. Okay? So thank you for your time, and you all have a great autumn evening like I am.